Welcome to the podcast, Nick.
Thanks, David.
Good to have you on. It's been a while since you've been on a podcast, hasn't it?
It has, yes. I've
Yeah.
only been on one, so this is second time.
I love it. But you've been a listener of this show for a wee while.
Yeah, I have been.
Yeah.
Probably a couple of years.
Did you start at the beginning or?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't say I listened to every episode, but yeah, definitely most of them.
Yeah, nice. You got a favourite one?
Really enjoyed Blair Chapel, people in the building industry, same sort of space as us.
Yeah.
Well, not same space, but building industry. I like listening to those guys who have done very well. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Michael Carabassis was always good.
Yeah. What do you think it's like knowing the person and like then listening to the podcast episode? So like guys like K-Bass and Amos and that?
Well, funnily enough, yeah, like I know Amos, I would say reasonably well, but learnt a lot about him listening to the podcast, particularly about what he's doing in business, because often when you catch up on the weekends, you're not necessarily talking about business. You might be talking about other stuff. So it was great. Yeah, good to learn a bit about the human.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, that's actually the point of connection, right? Is Amos introduced me to you, when was that, like 12, 18 months ago, 2 years?
2 years ago, yeah.
About 2 years, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was just serendipitous, like how even Amos and I connected. It was just through like a bit of content, like there was a bit of awareness, but it was really through a flight that him and Emily were on.
Yeah.
And then this has led to this, and I don't know, it's just
Yeah, classic. The timing was pretty good too, really. We were just about to sign up to a new office space, but ended up moving in at the loft, which has been great.
Yeah,
and
cool.
Then, working with yourself. So it's been a good series of events through that little intro of Amos's.
Yeah, totally. Because where were you in the business cycle then? Remind me. Like you'd been going a couple of years, right?
Well, Insight started in 2017 officially. So we were a good 6 years in.
Mm-hmm.
But we'd certainly gotten to a point of you've been probably a little bit stagnant, needed to grow, but I was probably a bit stuck with a bit of the decision making, being a wee bit cautious. And so linking up with you gave me a bit of confidence, I guess, to move forward and start that growth phase.
Yeah. So like you'd been doing it for a few years, so you're just chipping away, and like things were okay, but it wasn't like you were.
Yeah, wasn't probably planning into the future enough. I had some loose ideas of what I wanted to do, where I wanted to go, but really wasn't putting the plan into action.
Yeah.
Or even the thinking into action, working out how I was going to do that.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, cool. And so just for the listeners, so Insight is a building inspection company.
Yep.
Tell us about it. Give us the
So we specialise in residential pre-purchase and pre-sale reports. So I'm a licensed building practitioner. I've been in the building industry since I left school. So that's the best part of 20 years or even a bit more. I've also in recent years become got a diploma in building surveying, so a bit of extra study, which was hard. But so we had a building company from about 2011 through to 2016-ish, and that was great. We did a lot of earthquake work, and it was really good sort of university of life. Running a building company, very hard to do, and I take my hat off to anyone who does it well. But after that sort of earthquake phase, we were flat out, and we got through that, and I really felt like it wasn't for me. It was just so hard. I found it hard. So we wound that down, and in the sort of meantime, we were starting on this idea of a building inspections company, because at that time there wasn't really a lot of competition in the market, and with likes of things like earthquake damaged homes, we thought, well, this is going to be a service that's required, particularly in Christchurch, and we thought we could do it pretty well. So we started Insight with the plan of keeping it pretty small initially, but as time goes on and you start to get a bit of referral business, the snowball effect happens, and you need extra people to get the work done.
Yeah.
We're lucky to have a pretty good team. And
just take a quick moment to say thank you to one of our sponsors, Gerard's Insurance. I am a Gerard's customer, and I am absolutely thrilled to be working with them. They're speedy, efficient, and they just get it done. So get in touch with Gerard's. You won't regret it.
Yeah.
Love that.
Get through it.
Just one thing to clarify, like maybe not everyone knows this, but like there's two different types of inspection. just from the pre-sale versus pre-purchase.
Yep.
Do you want to just explain that?
Well,
quickly?
the same inspection and the same report, really. Some people choose before they put their house on the market to get a pre-sale report, and so that then they can provide that as part of their sales pack. And that's a good thing because especially if they've got a popular house, it saves multiple different inspections happening and it's a lot of money saved. On the flip side of that, if that's not available, people will engage us to do a pre-purchase inspection. And then, they get all the information before they settle on the house. But apart from that residential stuff, going back to your previous question, we also do a little bit of commercial, and we've been recently doing some leaky building surveys and things like that. So there's plenty of interesting work to get involved in, yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. What's the average property like? Is it generally pretty good with a few minor defects, or?
Yeah, well, it's very different. Yeah, every job's different. Because obviously we look at stuff that's built early, 1920s, right through to brand new stuff. But each version of that has its different little different things and defects. So there's not many houses that we go to that don't have something to be dealt with. And then we throw into the mix earthquake damage or as-is whereas properties. There's still, unfortunately, a fair bit of poorly repaired earthquake damage around, even though we're 12 odd years down the track. So, it's every job's so different.
Yeah. Do you find with the industry that you're in, do you feel like there's a bit of subjectivity? Like, do you feel like there's a bit of variance in how you frame a report?
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's a pretty unregulated industry, so there's a large variation in the level of detail in a report. We try quite hard to provide as much detail as we can. We have things like remote controlled rovers and drones and the really top quality moisture meters to make sure that we do a great job. But not everyone's using that technology, and that's fine. But it does mean that there's a big variation, and it'd be really cool to kind of get everyone together on what the minimum standard is.
Yeah,
I think, but that requires a few different parties getting on the same page.
Yeah, is there an industry or no?
There's a standard that we work to, that we're supposed to work to, but there's a couple of different sort of industry bodies, but I don't think not everyone's on the same page, unfortunately. But
Yeah, gotcha.
yeah, who knows? Over the next couple of years, that might change, and it also requires those peripheral parties like real estate, legal, and say lending and insurance. So it'd be cool if they got involved as well, and if everyone could sort of talk to each other and say, "This is what we need. This is the minimum standard," and then everyone knows that's where we should be at.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah. So with that recent bit of technology like drone and rovers and moisture meters and stuff, where do you think it's heading based on what you've seen, and maybe what would you predict the next couple of years will look like? Is there any other cool gadgets coming out?
All of that stuff just keeps getting better. So you try and have the best available of each gadget. But I think AI is going to play a part, obviously, like it will in every industry. And that might actually help with some uniformity, I guess, across the board. So that's going to be really interesting to see where that goes.
Yeah, I guess AI is not necessarily as what's the word? It's a bit more black and white, right?
Yeah, well, it certainly takes that personal opinion out of it.
Totally.
If we can use it correctly. And you and I have talked about it before, it's an awesome tool, I think, for people who know their job well already. They can use it quite effectively. It's not necessarily going to replace the building inspector or the business coach or the media guy.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just going to be a tool, right?
Yeah.
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 Are you using it more and more recently, or?
Yeah, definitely. We are working on ways to use it in different parts of the business. And I think that's just going to get better and better as well. As we understand it and the people that are helping us better understand it, it's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah.
See where it goes.
Have you used it to speed up the process? Have you used it to accelerate how long it takes? Yeah.
Yeah, we have. Yep. We are working on a couple of things that have certainly streamlined our process and gotten even a bit more uniformity in our own team. So it's really cool. And it does make life easier, doesn't it?
Yeah, I love it.
With everything you do.
Yeah, 100%. So being a tenant of the loft, that's been something. How long have you been in there? About a year now?
A year and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're working from home, but you're looking at another space.
No, we had an office space actually with Amos. And when we should have had a downstairs part of his office, very small part. And when he shifted to his new spot, we had to find another spot. And he obviously introduced me to you at the loft, so it's cool. The loft's awesome because you've just got such a varied range of people. There's IT guys and there's AI guys and there's you, business coach, and then there's a couple of tradies in there as well. So there's always someone to chat to about whatever issue you might be having, or just have a good yarn. Yeah, and it's a good vibe, isn't it?
Yeah, it is quite interesting, isn't it? Yeah, that mix.
Yeah,
I find between there and say IHF, it's just interesting, like these different communities and how that sort of comprises a big part of your life. And like if you can enjoy going to work in the office, and there's the chance that you might run into someone interesting, like I don't know, it sort of makes the
and it's also just a nice spot to be, isn't it? If you want to have a cheeky beer or something, it's a good spot. I can normally find someone else around the office that's
100%. Dangerous
on a Friday afternoon. So yeah, it's great. It's good. And IHF is the same. It's just a bunch of like-minded people. Yeah. So
yeah, I was going to ask you about that, just with what your thoughts are around, being in business can be quite lonely, right? Like you've got clients, you've got team, you've got suppliers, etc., and then you've got your interpersonal relationships, but like it can be quite isolating, right? And so I think communities like IHF and the Loft and co-working spaces, and I don't know, I guess just different groups of people can help.
Yeah, definitely, especially when you're a small business like us or you're the business owner. There's not the business owner doesn't get any awards or pats on the back. They just got to do the job, right? And so when you're surrounded by people who are in a similar boat, like a lot of the people at the Loft are business owners or small businesses, it's great. You can have a chat with them, and it's good.
Yeah. I was just thinking about this before. We're talking about the physical space of like the office and the importance that plays in like your mindset and happiness and business trajectory. I think it's
massive, isn't it?
It is massive, yeah.
We had a brekkie there yesterday morning, and what was there, 10, 15 business owners in the room and someone presenting. And you just come out of there feeling pretty motivated because the person presenting, Simon, was he'd done pretty well in a couple of things recently, and you go, well, shit, if he can do it, there's no reason anyone else can't.
Yeah, that's it.
So it's good.
Yeah, I guess that's what I was referring to, right? How you've got these opportunities to, I guess, get involved and like hear other people's stories and get to know other people, especially business owners, and so it sort of removes that loneliness.
And that's probably where I was at when I first met you. Was that maybe I felt like there wasn't much opportunity for growth in what we were doing, and I felt like I probably owned a job rather than a business. But having a few chats with you and then different people around the place got me re-motivated and re-enthused about, well, there's still heaps of room for improvement in our business and the industry as a whole. How can we play a part in that?
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
What do you see the future, like the next couple of years, looking like?
I think we'll have a pretty, in real estate or
just in general, like with your business, your industry, real estate.
I think it's going to be busy. All the ingredients are there for the real estate market to be pretty busy over the next couple of years. And so as long as the real estate agents are selling houses, we're kept pretty busy. And I guess also as long as we're looking after people as best as we can, should be good. And then throw into the mix the changes in technology. Well, it's pretty exciting to see where it ends up.
Yeah. Any big like predictions that you want to throw out there if we're back here in this seat in 12 months' time, say?
No. with regards to,
I don't know, it's just industry, life, tech. Like there's a lot of theories around AI and technology and where that might lead, but
yeah, I'm really interested. I don't know enough about AI to probably throw any predictions out there, but I'm really interested to see where it goes, and I think it's awesome. I know there's people out there that probably don't love it, but I think it's a cool thing. Predictions wise, hopefully we're all busy and out in relation to our industry. Hopefully we've moved ahead and made some improvements, because there's definitely room for improvement in what we do.
Yeah. I wonder if a bit more uniformity could be good.
Yeah, it would be great. It would be really good for everyone, people buying, selling, and us as building inspectors. But that's cool. We're trying to have some conversations with the different parties, and I think if we keep chipping away at it, we'll get there.
Totally. Yeah, I like it. What role do you think health and fitness plays in business for you personally?
Oh, super important, and that's been a learning for me in the last. I've always known it, but in the last 12 months particularly, just learning a bit more about how my brain works, and it works a lot better when I'm keeping relatively fit. I mean, I've never been an athlete, but just getting to the gym every day and doing something, and then trying to eat a relatively healthy diet, it makes a huge difference to my headspace, mindset, and the way I can operate.
Yeah. Do you find that ties into sleep as well? Do you find that when you're
everything? So I'd always struggled to have, like, there'd be periods of time where I'd have a really good clean diet, but the exercise wasn't there, or vice versa. And then in the last, probably 12 months, I've been able to just quietly chip away at that and get that going better. And probably joining up at IHF has been important, because it's a nice place to be as well. But yeah, when you're eating right, exercising, life's better, because the things that would ordinarily stress you out don't stress you out. You can sort of remove yourself from the situation and figure out a solution, and I tend to be a lot more productive.
Yeah, it's just trying to figure out that recipe that's going to work, right, on a ongoing basis.
Yeah, and I always tried to do things pretty drastically. Like, I'd decide, I need to get fit, so then I'd go on this quite drastic fitness regime that was never going to last because it wasn't realistic. So in the last wee bit, I've just worked away at just making little improvements every day to try and just make it a more of a sustainable thing. Yeah, and it's still a work
in progress.
100%. It's definitely not perfect, but
no.
I guess the other thing is, and I've never been a huge drinker, but cutting out the beers a fair bit. I love a beer, but I've sort of realised that cutting that out just is better as well for me, and I don't really miss it. So that's been good.
Yeah, the alcohol definitely tends to have a few flow-on effects that aren't always the best, right?
Totally. And to be clear, I'm not saying I've given up drinking forever. But
No.
I just try and really, like, save it for a special occasion. Yeah.
Like a Friday afternoon.
Yeah.
With the sun shining.
Post podcast.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Has anything over your lifetime worked better than others in terms of health, fitness, lifestyle choices? Like, have you found something that's like a really good combination for you? Just in terms of either like gym or challenge or,
Well, I've tried the 75 hard challenge, which you're a big fan of. And it's, for me, with what we've got going on in life outside of work at the moment, it just didn't really work. I couldn't tick off all the items in one day. I could do most of them, but not all of them. So what I'm working on at the moment, I think, works pretty well, and that's just trying to get to the gym daily, and like, I don't eat anything before about 11 o'clock. I have a coffee, but just trying to have really high protein stuff.
Yeah.
From then on. But that's working well for me at the moment. I feel good.
Nice.
I could definitely do with still trimming down a little bit, but hey, don't be too hard on yourself, right?
That's it. Yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the 75 hard, it is great and all, but man, it is pretty extreme.
Mm.
And I think it's got merit, but also like, I don't know.
I'd love to be able to do it, but yeah, just didn't work. So you've got to sort of go, okay, let's try something different.
Yeah. Yeah, I think from my experience, it can be a valuable thing, but also especially getting midway through, like majority of the way through it can, I don't know, it's definitely not all perfect, and I see why it does attract the level of criticism it does.
Yeah, does it? I only saw positives, but
yeah, if you search it up, it definitely has a lot of haters, and a lot of people just don't believe it's the right thing, and
right.
its negatives outweigh the positive. But I don't know, I still have enjoyed doing it.
What's negative about it?
I think people just perceive it to be like an unhealthy way to go about, modifying your lifestyle. Like I think they see it as a way that it's just too extreme and that it doesn't really lead to the best sustainable outcome.
Yeah, right.
But for me, it is a reset. Like it is a way to recalibrate.
Totally. Yeah, which is good. Sometimes you need that.
Yeah, but would I do it again? I'm not sure.
Yeah,
maybe.
Probably will.
We'll see. Yeah, I think it's something that I've talked about doing annually, just as a way to reset and especially the drinking. Just have like a good 2.5 months off it. I find that's quite a good idea.
Yeah, I think that's really good. Getting more water in the system.
Totally. Yeah. And even just like the reading of the book, like that's something that I just don't generally go to. Like I've really got to force myself to do those 2 pages a day. So to ramp that up to 10, it's a good way to get through a book or 2.
Yeah. It's hard to do though, isn't it? Like the first few days I did it, I thought listening to an audiobook was acceptable, but I was quickly informed that that's not a goer. So then actually having to sit and read 10 pages of a book, it's quite hard.
Especially if you're reading Jordan Peterson. Man.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Tough read.
Chewy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think one thing with 75 hard though is if you've got a partner or a husband and wife, I think if they're on board with it, it makes it infinitely easier.
Yeah, probably.
But what about the homeschooling? You want to talk about that?
Yeah, we can do. Yeah. So, so my wife Alicia and I have got 2 boys, 10 and 7, Archer and Arlo, and they are homeschooled, which is kind of interesting and different. We decided to do that when sort of Archer was coming up to school age. Alicia's a teacher. You certainly don't have to be a teacher to homeschool your kids, but I was kind of guided by her on that process because she was a professional. And we went to the local schools, and just knowing a bit about Archer and his sort of thirst for knowledge, I guess, Alicia said, would you consider homeschooling them? And not something I thought about, but we decided to have a crack at it, and it's worked really well. Like it just gives us, and to be fair, Alicia does most of it. She's pretty amazing with it, but it gives us the space and flexibility to let the boys learn the important stuff, but through things that they're passionate about. So I think particularly for boys, it's really good. Like they learn all the key things, but they can do it in a way that works for them. And we'll continue to do it. Like it's obviously it's up to them if they ever decide that they want to go to school and try that. That's always on the table, and we can have that chat if it comes up. But so far, they live the dream, those boys.
That's cool. Yeah. It's so relatable. Like I remember back to school and how it was just a constant struggle. I just couldn't really learn because it didn't feel relatable. It felt abstract.
Yeah.
And it felt like it was just a constant battle.
I think especially for boys, right? And especially in the world that we're in at the moment with technology changing like it is and AI and all of that sort of stuff, we can spend some time with the boys looking at those different things as well. And just follow. And the idea is that we help them figure out really what they're passionate about, and when they are, and that changes from week to week sometimes. But when they're super passionate about something, we'll go down that rabbit hole with them and let them learn it. And and it just hopefully builds a bit of resilience. They're out there socialising with all range of different people every day, kids and adults. And there's a big community in Christchurch. We're lucky to have some really close friends that also homeschool their kids. So that's sort of a good thing to have them and share the experience with them as well.
Yeah. I was going to ask how that works. Is there a group of other families that are homeschooling that you'll
so there's activities every day, and the boys are probably out daily doing activities, and not just with homeschool kids but with school kids as well. They're involved in all sorts of different sports at the moment, so they'll go to jiu-jitsu, and most of the kids there are school kids, and they'll do that, and that's great. They do a bit of swimming, they play football, they do their go-kart racing. So they just get a really wide range of people to connect with, and hopefully over time, once they get as they get older and they get a feel for what they're really passionate about, we can help them go down that track and really hone in on what they love. And because you're looking back, I think I hope that they eventually work in a role that is something that they love, not something that they do for the money.
Totally. Yeah. What do most people do? Do they generally homeschool all the way through to primary or high school? Or?
I think it varies. I think some people might go right through, and then come time, like once they get to sort of working age or university age, they'll choose, and they might go and do a trade, or they might do some papers to get into university. Some kids might go through the homeschool through the primary years and then go to high school. And like I say, that's entirely up to the boys. We always talk to them about that. They've always got that option. So yeah. So far they haven't taken it up, but
how's Alicia find it?
Like she loves it. She's amazing at it. She's got a real passion for kids and learning and child psychology, actually. Like she really kind of digs deep and does a lot of reading. And I think once she started looking at homeschooling and started reading about it, she found it quite hard to go back to thinking about sending them off to school. And so, yeah, she really loves it. And you'd have to love it. To be honest with you, would find it quite hard to be the full-time homeschool dude.
Massive commitment, right?
Yeah, it's such hard work. Like, it's kind of like having a job that is 24/7, I reckon. So I get to go to work for 10 odd hours of the day and then come home and it's a change of scenery, whereas for Alicia, and we try and balance that. Like we do try and have some other people come in and help us out, and the boys go off to different activities as well. But yeah, she loves it. She does an awesome job of it, and it works really well at the moment. And
nice.
If that changes down the track, then we'll do what we need.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I've got a friend that they've homeschooled their kids until maybe like 14, 15-ish, and then they're going to do a couple of years at high school. Yeah.
It's been interesting actually through your network. There's a couple of guys in there that were homeschooled, so that's kind of been interesting for me to see them and both business owners I'm thinking of. It's been interesting to see them out the other end of the homeschooling journey, and they're pretty complimentary of it, and they've come out with quite a entrepreneurial mindset or growth mindset. Whether that's because they were homeschooled or whether they always had that, I don't know, but yeah, it's good to see them come out the other side and they're doing well.
Yeah, it is interesting, isn't it? Yeah, the other one that comes to mind is the people that have gone through the Rudolph Steiner system.
Yeah.
And just how, like, there's two people that I can think of currently that they're quite similar in a lot of ways, and just how, is that coincidence or is it the system or what is it? It's definitely different, like, no doubt about it.
No, that's right. And it's what we do try and do with the boys is teach them how to learn. Like, okay, you're interested in this. How do you find out more information about that? And try and take them down the track and say, you can become an expert in this if you want to read and learn and understand it. So you can learn anything or do anything, can't you, if you put your mind to it?
Yeah, I think it's a really good point. Like, I don't know how you found it when you went and finished off that diploma that year. Hard, like real hard.
Because I was not great at school.
No.
So, I went to school and I towed the line, I
You
guess.
attended.
I did what I needed to do to get by, but I found it hard. And then going back to school, probably, what was this? This was over the last, 3 or 4 years. Yeah, I did. I found study pretty hard. But that's cool. We got there. There's a couple of resits, but
Yeah. Yeah. I guess it just makes me think about learning in general and, how the world we live in today, there's so many different mediums. Like this didn't exist 20 years ago, right?
yeah.
There was no podcast.
No.
Back then, the internet was a different place or an emerging place. And so you look at the amount of video content now and the quality of content that's available and how like the learning that we can do now is.
Well, that's another interesting thing, isn't it? There's a lot of young guys in your network that are business owners, and they're doing very well. And I'm just in awe of some of them because I'm like, far out. They're basically their first job out of high school is I'm a business owner and I'm a whatever they choose to do. But they've been able to learn, teach themselves, and make it happen just through because it's something they're passionate about, right? And if you're passionate about what you do, it'll work out well for you, I think.
Yeah, it is interesting. Yeah, I think for a couple of them, I can, think of one, for example, that, I know for a fact he started watching like Gary Vaynerchuk content back when he was probably an intermediate, like 12, 13 kind of thing.
Yeah.
And has just constantly been consuming that kind of content. And so coming out of high school or, like going to uni and then just realizing like, shit, I'm equipped, like I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
This is not the right path. This isn't it.
It's a different mindset, isn't it, to what we were probably brought up with, whereas
Massively.
you start at the bottom and you work your way up. You don't necessarily have to do that. Now, depending on what profession or trade that you choose, you can you can't go out there and be a builder or a doctor, obviously, straight up by watching some YouTube videos, but there's certain things that you can do. You can teach yourself and do them quite well.
Yeah.
And that's the changing environment that we're in. There's jobs, like I guess with, say, Archer and Arlo, we don't really know what jobs are going to be available when they get to working age.
It's a really good point.
Like, that'll be another interesting thing. And I'm kind of interested, some of my mates' kids are getting to that age now where they have to start thinking about that, and nephews and nieces and that. And I'm really interested to see where they go because I just think, man, they can do anything. So I hope that they do.
Yeah, it's both exciting and depressing in a way, right? Like it's exciting for them that they've got this whole world, right, ahead of them.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's not regret that I have, but it's also like, far out, if I was to do it again based on what I know now, I would just do things so completely differently.
Yeah, and probably like we did have the internet sort of, didn't we, when we were leaving school, but you weren't really aware of what the options were.
Not really,
I don't think.
No.
Like I went to Shirley Boys High School in Christchurch, and that was awesome. But like most of us came out and became tradies or builders.
Did most people?
A lot of them became builders, and then there's
Right.
like some other tradies
Yeah.
out of that, plumbers and sparkies and that, and that's cool. A lot of them have done very, very well out of that.
Yeah.
And I don't ever think, like I think a trade's actually a really cool thing to do because you've always got those skills. Even now I can do some stuff with a hammer, which is great, handy at times. But yeah, I wasn't thinking bigger picture, big enough. I probably wasn't thinking big enough when I went to school, yeah.
Did many people go to uni from your
Yeah,
group?
they did. Certainly got some good mates who went on and did things like journalism and sciences and and they've done well as well. But I would say the bulk, if I had to guess, the bulk would have gone into the trades. And that's cool. That's worked as well. But my point is that I don't think we knew what, and maybe that's changed over the last 20 years as well. There is a lot, like things like social media and that. There's a lot of jobs that have come out of that probably weren't a thing back when we left school. But in 20 years' time, there's going to be a whole other range of stuff.
Yeah, that's another interesting chat, isn't it? What is it going to be like in 20 years' time?
Well, is it going to mean that there's less jobs to do, or I don't know, more jobs? That's a question above my pay grade, but it's going to be interesting. I think you probably couldn't go wrong being in that sort of IT web development space, could you, at the moment? Or
I mean, that's what everyone was suggesting a few years ago, but then with AI, it's almost eradicating like lower level development jobs, like programming jobs.
so then do the trades and the hands-on stuff.
Well,
Does that become the job, the good job to have?
Maybe, yeah.
Eventually robots are going to be able to do that too, right?
I would imagine so, but timing, I don't know how far away that is.
Seems to be happening pretty quick.
Yeah. I saw just before actually the guys from Gerard's Insurance playing with a robot dog. It's this dog that's like, walking around, shaking hands.
Yeah, cool.
And I was like, wow, that's cool.
You've got to try and be on board with it, because we're at risk of being the old boys that if you don't embrace it, you could get left behind. So you've got to try and
lean in,
use these young fellas to teach us as much as they can.
Yeah,
and stay up to date with it, right?
It's funny because I really pride myself on being that person, like trying to embrace new tech. But something like TikTok comes along, and I'm like, I just don't understand this. Like, I can't get my head around it.
Well, same for me with social media in general. I'm not a huge fan.
No,
I hate it actually.
Do you?
But I know that it's a necessary part of what I do. So everyone tells me I have to do it.
What don't you like about it?
I think things like Facebook and that are a little bit fake. And it's cool for kind of keeping up to date with what your mates are doing, but then I don't know how many people on my Facebook feed that I've connected with that I don't really know. And in the end, I think I open up Facebook now and I get just bombed with ads. I think, but what I don't like about it is that, I think it is probably a little bit fake, and it has taken away that just giving your mate a call, having a chat to him on the phone or catching up with him, right? Like a lot of that sort of interaction is done via Messenger
digitally, yeah,
which I think's risky.
Yeah, it's a good point. I think my biggest thing I don't like about it is just the negativity. Like, you accidentally click on a news story and jeepers.
Yeah, well, it's not a nice place. That's another thing, isn't it? A lot of people say stuff on Facebook or any social media platform about a person. There's no way they would say that thing to their face, and that's creating a bit of a negative sentiment, I reckon. Like, professional athletes that get hammered with. I'm following Liam Lawson a fair bit lately, and some of the commentary from overseas about his performance on the weekend is not nice.
No,
I assume he probably doesn't read it, he doesn't care, but I'm like, man, there's no way you'd say that to his face or to anyone's face that was close to him. So why say it on there? And also, it's like people that don't really understand what's going on either. They're blaming for him for stuff that's well outside of his control. Right. And so any of those, I don't know. I try and avoid it because I get a bit grumpy, and here I am going down a rabbit hole.
Yeah. I wonder if people end up deleting it, or is the addiction too strong? I'm not sure.
Well, I've deleted it a few times, but then for work reasons, I've had to get it back, but I really do try and not log on to Facebook, and I don't have Instagram, which is pretty old mate of me, isn't it? But
it's probably wise, actually.
I just know it's another thing that'll kill time.
It can suck a lot of time. Yeah. What about YouTube? Do you spend much time on there?
Yeah, I do, but it's pretty intentional. Like if I'm trying to figure something out, if I'm trying to learn something, but that's what I'll go to if I do want to kill 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I'll just watch some videos on whatever subject I'm thinking about at the time.
Yeah. Have you got premium?
No. But if you want to find something funny or something that'll make you laugh, that's normally a good one for that, right?
Yeah. What's your go-to for humorous videos on there?
I love watching comedians. I
Yeah.
like there's a guy Matt Rife that I've been watching a bit of lately, and he's a funny man.
Oh yeah.
So
Where's he from?
American.
Yeah.
He's pretty loose, and yeah, it's good. Enjoy watching a bit of Ricky Gervais, and yeah, that's good.
Yeah, nice.
Mm.
Do you watch any Joe Rogan?
No, I've never got into it. It's never grabbed me really. I see clips of it, and yeah, he obviously does some interesting stuff, doesn't he?
Yeah. Have you got a go-to podcast or two?
Yeah, 10 Million 10 Years, David Mills.
Oh, so good.
I do enjoy your podcast. I love The Diary of a CEO. Yeah, there's a few, don't mind a true crime podcast sometimes, which you don't learn anything from, but yeah, all those normal ones. I tend to now pick and choose which episodes I listen to, whatever grabs me. I love the OPS one, the property one. I think those boys do a pretty good job of giving you some pretty straight up information.
Totally. Yeah.
But even with that, I kind of pick and choose what's interesting.
Yeah. They've really leaned into it, haven't they? They've fully committed.
And they've kept it up pretty consistently as well, right?
Massively.
Daily, which is impressive.
Yeah. I really like that ethos that they've got. I don't know if you're familiar with the book, They Ask You Answer.
No.
It's a book about content marketing and just basically providing as much knowledge and resources for your customers or potential customers as you can.
Which kind of, it would have gone against the grain in the old days.
Big time.
Giving out free information, but it's proven, even with what you're doing, giving out free content and creating the network has clearly worked.
Yeah.
For them, and I think it's working pretty well for what you're doing at the moment, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's an ongoing process of just learning and experimenting, but, I think for me, I enjoy the process of that, and it's not just a tool, it's not just a thing to try and get new business or to document the challenge. It's a fun way to experiment and to have conversations. So.
Yeah, interesting, isn't it? It's interesting some of the people you've had on. There's some weapon business people that you've had on.
Yeah.
And yeah, from my point of view, there's probably a bit of imposter syndrome, really. Like some of the guys that you've had recently have done amazing things. So it's cool.
It is cool, yeah.
And it just keeps snowballing, doesn't it? Like that guy that you interview introduces you to the next guy, maybe.
Yeah. It's quite interesting how they just...
All girl.
Totally. Yeah. It's just funny how they, there's a real willingness to be involved, and it's something I'm really grateful for. People are keen to share their story.
I suppose they can see that it's a pretty genuine thing and it's not a fly-by-night
arrangement,
is it? It's here for the long haul.
Another 7.5 years, Nick, minimum.
Yeah, and then you'll see at the next goal, right?
Totally. Maybe
you're going to hit that goal sooner than 10 years, aren't you?
I'd hope so. Yeah, I would hope so. It would be quite nice.
You're going to have to reset.
I do believe it's probably about more than the money, though.
Yeah.
It's more about the journey and what I learn along the way.
Yeah, right. Which is good.
So, yeah, I mean, I think having been in it 2.5 years now, I was pretty adamant at the start it was more about the money, but I guess I've learned through the process that it's more about the things I'm learning along the way. And
enjoying the journey.
Yeah, I think there's definitely some downside. I think there's a bit of managing the pressure that's constantly there.
Because of that goal?
Yeah, just having that constantly gnawing away. Not every minute, but, it is at the back of my mind. And especially having put it out so publicly and just, I don't know, obviously I don't want to fail and I don't want to not get there, but jeepers, time does fly.
Yeah, right. What are you 2.5 years in?
Yeah.
Currently.
So 25% of the way in.
But if you don't hit the 10 million and you get 9 million, it's still pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, I guess even if I were to get 2 or 3, it's probably not horrible, is it?
And then you look back on the body of work that you've created out of it.
Yes,
that'll be massive.
totally.
But I reckon you're going to hit it.
You reckon?
Yeah, no drama.
Totally.
Yeah, I think you'll hit it early, and then you'll have to reset the goal.
Yeah, I just tend to like challenges.
I've been made aware of that. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, you don't just do a thing, eh?
no. I mean, we're talking about goal setting yesterday, right? And just the value of setting goals that are, I don't know, there's somewhat interesting. It's not just like.
Yeah, well, it's a thought I've been having recently about that. It's taken me till I'm coming up 42 this year, and it probably took me till I was 40 to realise that, yeah, set the goal, that's great, have the goal, but don't get like wrapped up and consumed by achieving that, and in the process of doing that, miss out on the current time. Like, enjoy what you're doing right now as well. I think I spent those earlier years just too focused on where I was going that I forgot to enjoy what I was doing.
And be present in the moment.
Yeah. So now I'm going the opposite way and enjoying the moment.
Was that because you were just fixated on like, yeah, I'll be happy when I reach this point? Yeah.
Totally, yeah. Once I do this will be better, and then that kind of makes you a little bit like unhappy with where you're at. But yeah, you sort of you get to a point where you realise, well, not everyone's going to like you. You can't help that. And so don't worry about it. Just keep doing the best that you can do, in business and in personal. And if someone doesn't like the way you're doing things, then that's cool. They can go and do what they're doing. But also, yeah, make sure you enjoy, because we don't know how long we're here for.
That's right.
So you got to enjoy it now.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think a lot of people make that mistake? They're too fixated on the future?
Yeah, I reckon we get a wee bit hung up on money and maybe comparing. Like, I really do try hard not to compare to other people, because there's some people around me that do exceptionally well, and I'm like super proud of any of my mates that have done well. And I've never got jealous. I've never been jealous of any of that. But I think sometimes people do get a bit worried about how much money the next guy's making, or hey, how come he's bought a Porsche and I haven't got a Porsche? Whereas I try and be more like, hey, cool, he's got a Porsche. I wonder if he'll take me for a ride in it.
Yeah.
It's good to surround yourself with those people, isn't it? And but also realize that, hey, you're doing okay too. You're doing okay. Like, you've got a roof over your head.
Totally. Yeah. I think that's a good point. You know, like, they're on their path, you're on your path. It's all good.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
No.
You don't know what's happened in the background for them to get to that point. And
100%.
You know more, you only know about your journey. So as long as you are happy with the way you've got there, yeah, it's all good.
Yeah.
Don't stress.
I think that's a really good point, just especially maybe for younger listeners or viewers, right? Like, just don't necessarily look at the outward surface part of someone's life.
Yep.
That's just a small segment. It's a really small component of who they are.
Yeah, totally. And also, like, if things don't go how you intended them to go, don't dwell on it for too long. Like, I think back to the building business, and it probably didn't finish up how I would have liked it to finish up. It probably did cost us some money. It didn't fail, but we ended up having to put some money in to square some stuff up. And it was good that we were able to do that. But I probably did dwell on that for way too long. I sort of felt within myself that it was a wee bit of a failure. Hadn't sold the business for millions of dollars, so I'd had to just wind it down. But what the situation there was actually is that we decided that business wasn't for us. We wound it down, paid everyone up, we moved on, and that's probably not a bad result.
100%.
And I should have seen it that way. Instead, I got a bit stuck in myself, and I was like, "Oh, this sucks."
Yeah. Do you think, knowing what you know now, do you think would you have done it sooner?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have pulled the pin. I can remember a time when I was in the office in the warehouse that we had. And
like a moment.
Yeah. And I looked at all the stuff and all the kit and the vehicles and the trailers, and I thought, man, I should just shut this down now and sell everything. And I was hating it at that time. And we had a good team, like we had really good people. But I remember standing at the top of the stairs where my office was, looking down. I was like, I really should just kill this. I'm not loving it, so I shouldn't do it anymore. But I didn't. I held on for probably another 2 years, and it didn't get any better in that time. And that's probably because I wasn't passionate about it and I wasn't enjoying it.
Do you think that's an example of trusting your gut and your intuition?
Yep.
Yeah.
And if the same thing happened now, I wouldn't be too precious about it. Like, I love what I'm doing now, but yeah, I wouldn't muck around.
Yeah.
And I'd definitely say the same thing to anyone who was in that boat. Like, if you think that it's not working out and you're not loving it, just don't be too scared to pull the pin.
Yeah.
It's not a failure.
It's really good unconventional advice, and I'm really easily able to relate to that. Like when I had my marketing agency.
Yep.
Similarly, like I was just at the point where I was so done with it. I was not enjoying it at all. And I tried so many different iterations and put so much money into it and just tried to put full creativity into it and like still not liking it.
Yeah.
And I think like the combination of not liking it, not making money, I think it was the perfect time to shut it down.
Yeah.
Probably would have done it sooner, knowing what I know now.
Maybe you have to go through the process.
Maybe.
That's like every business owner that you talk to who's done well has generally had a couple of hiccups along the way, right?
Oh, 100%.
I think. But you look at also the people who are doing really well, even in this little network, and they love what they do, don't they? Well, they seem to.
I think that is a really good point. Like most people, you're right. They've found their thing, like they've found their thing that they can do without, like they can work away at it and not burn out or not dislike it.
Yeah, totally. And you can put the hours in like without feeling like you've hammered yourself.
Yeah. I think that's probably the perspective that maybe some of the younger people are, and they just don't have that ability, right, to see what happens down the road. And maybe if you get to that point, like maybe not everyone gets to that point, but
I don't think everyone does. Some people strike it lucky first time and nail it and it all goes well. But I guess if you haven't been through the ups and downs, why would you? Why would you think about that? You just want to focus on the positives.
Yeah.
Interesting thought. I think also when you're trying to plug away at something that you're not loving, it just drains you as well.
Totally.
You end up pretty burnt out, don't you?
Yeah. Well, I think there's pride and there's ego in the way, and it's not easy, is it? Like, I know for me it wasn't. Like
definitely. Your pride. You feel like you should.
Like just keep going, right?
You're supposed to be a business owner. You figure it out, man.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Interesting.
That's a good call to action, though, right? If anyone's listening and they're in a business that they're not enjoying, like maybe ask those hard questions.
It's kind of the opposite of what we're trying to do here, eh? But
I mean, my whole thing is just being real, though.
The next thing will pop up.
Absolutely, yeah.
We deal with lots of people who miss out on houses, for example, and they get really disappointed, and we kind of end up being a little bit part of that process. And I always just say, the next thing that pops up is probably going to be better, so just don't worry about it. Because I've always found that when things haven't worked out, or you miss something that you want to get, or like a house is a good example, you miss a house, the next one that pops up has always been better, and you're like, man, I'm glad I didn't get that previous one.
So true. Yeah. That's the tough thing with real estate transactions, right? Yeah, you get so invested in it, and then it can quite easily not.
Often for a lot of people, it's an emotional purchase, isn't it? But same thing applies to business and any sort of deal that you're trying to do, I reckon.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it. Any parting wisdom? Any jokes? One-liners?
No jokes today.
No jokes today. You're usually so loaded with jokes, though. No, man, no parting wisdom. No,
thanks for having me on.
Mate, I enjoyed it.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
It's good stuff.
Yeah. if we're going to check back in 12 months' time, which is something I always like to do with the guest, is to bring them back into this is a time capsule of sorts, right?
Yep.
Can document this journey right here, right now.
Yep.
And see where you've got to.
Yeah, cool. Hopefully we're a bit bigger and better and making improvements.
Bigger, better, happier.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy, but you could always be happier.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it'll be great. Thank you.
I like it. Cool. Thanks very much for being a part of the show.